course. Well, that's convenient. Starting at pretty much the same time. I don't even have to sync them up.
Perfect.
Both going for that MT at the start. A little bit difficult, but for these guys, just standard. Wario Stadium, a track for me personally where really the only good thing is at least it's not Rainbow Road.
It's Rainbow Road Light.
Yeah. Although actually quite a bit more technical than Rainbow Road, I'd say.
Yeah, a lot more elements to it. Rainbow Road's a bit more flat. Except I feel like all the elevation changes are smooth compared to here. It's
Yeah, lots of weird bumps to have to deal with on this track.
It's like Dan might be slightly ahead. Sure, coming into this first lap.
See if either of them play risky. No, both playing safe. There is an MT you can do off that ramp. I know Dan doesn't even do it in world record attempts, so certainly not something I'd expect to see from them. Matias with the 0.29 lead after lap 1. Just holding those lines a little tighter.
Yeah, a little close race. I think Dan's trim was a bit wider, and that's probably where most of the difference is.
Both players doing this sort of right-facing then left-facing MT. Some people call it the flip-flop MT. Something that really only higher-level players do. It's a bit awkward. If you do the right-facing MT after that 180, the left-facing one kinda just comes naturally. Your cart gets thrown into that angle, but it can be difficult to just get your MT fast enough to squeeze it in. Matias looking like he's pulling out a bit of an even bigger lead than lap 1.
Yeah, he got a tram on his shroom back there, so that helped.
Did he? Yeah. Still only gaining 0.07, it looked like.
So that's got us at 0.36.
A tran being when you slide down the far side of a big hill. Being on the ground is much preferable, especially when you're using a shroom. And so,
in general, being on the ground is preferable. So the train is when you, like Murphy said, you slide down the hill. It's more common to see at Rainbow Road, but there's a couple train spots here in Wario Stadium.
Yeah, there's one near the beginning of the lap on the big hill, but most people don't go for it.
Kind of to go for it, but it's very difficult to get.
Yeah. Dan does look like he's caught up quite a bit of time. This race is now very close.
Very clean from Dan. The back half of this race.
And they're right neck and neck now. This is anybody's race. Dan going for the ramp MT, and he gets it clean. Oh, but then he hits the wall on the exit. And that is the risk, especially if you're not used to doing it. It can throw you into a bit of a weird angle. And with that, Matias is going to take the first track.
I think Dan knew he was a little behind there, so he decided to go for the extra MT.
I think so, yeah. Felt like he needed that little extra time.
Worked at first, and then he slid a little bit too aggressively into the next turn and just slammed the wall. Roughly half a second.
Did you see what Dan's time was there? He clicked off a little fast.
I think it was a 78 422.78.
Alright, thank you.
If I remember right. Yep. Tias is picking Rainbow next. Oh man. Back-to-back long ones. But we're taking a little break real quick. For some reason. Or something. In Rainbow Road back-to-back start.
Yeah, like we mentioned in Wario Stadium, the Tran saves quite a bit of time. You can see Dan gets the better Tran on lap 1 and he pulls out an early lead.
I didn't quite see the starts there, so I wasn't sure what it sounds like.
Yeah, Dan's Tran was pretty clean. Matthias got some air about halfway down.
See Jaden's in the chat. He's very happy about these picks to start the race. To start the round. Road.
Dan going to the inside of the chomp, Matthias going to the outside.
It seems like at their speed, that's a very aggressive line for Dan to take because that thing does not leave a lot of room.
Yeah.
Wide, you could slam right into it.
Matthias playing it a bit safer. There is also a chomp on lap 3, just before where they are now, where on good pace it leaves almost no room. And I know during Dan and Abney's match, they both went to the inside and made it.
Oh man.
So we'll see what happens on this one.
My pace as well, I know that guy can be pretty stressful, so...
Yeah.
Because he's more in the corner, so it's harder to see where he's at.
Yeah, on certain paces, there's no gap at all.
Yeah. Yeah, you either have to go around, or you're forced inside, or... The worst is definitely when you can't really tell if they're going in or out. You're kind of sliding into them and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
To the end of lap 1 now.
Both players going to the left of the last chomp. If you're a bit slower, he can be a little bit in the way. Dan with about 0.14 lead after lap 1. But looking like he gets the worst Tran that time.
Yeah.
And Matthias should now be in the lead.
We got a lot of air there.
The Tran is so important on this track. It saves an unbelievable amount of time.
Need to be careful. My streams are slightly ahead.
Ooh, Dan just squeezing to the inside of that chomp.
Tias did the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was reacting to, and then I was like, wait, I need to wait. It's for both of them. Big chaos coming up then, which is what we love to see.
Yep.
They're pulling for it. Somebody's asking if we can pick the tracks in reverse. Yeah, let's throw it onto extra mode real quick, and then we'll have a...
Yeah.
I don't even know if the chomps are like in extra mode. Like, do you drive with them?
That's a good question. No, I think they still come against you. It's not like it doesn't flip like Toad's Turnpike.
That'd be amazing if you had to like project where they're gonna be as you're driving past them.
Yeah. Yeah, I might as well mention the format since we've got time. Players alternate picking tracks, so Dan picked first, Matthias picked second, and they go on from there. Each set is a best of 7 tracks, and the match itself is a best of 5 sets. So first to 4 tracks, first to 3 sets. And all tracks are non-shortcut, except for once per entire match, each player can call one track to be shortcut. I would be somewhat surprised to see it happen in this match. Dan especially, not much experience in shortcut, although he does have a world record in shortcut. Oh, Matthias not even really getting a Tran that lap.
Yeah, Dan was back. Dan was down by, I'd say, about 3/4 of a second, maybe a little less. But Dan also didn't get a great Tran, so...
Yeah, still a little bit behind.
I'm there, but he didn't get as much as he could have. Tough Trans for Dan today. The only other thing to mention, I don't know if I heard you say this, but after every 2 sets, everyone's track pools reset, so
right.
they can
Yes.
select.
Yeah, you can't pick the same track twice in the same set, and then after 2 sets, the track pool resets, and you can pick anything again.
Guys, a real jerk.
Funny thing is, it's named after a guy, David Tran, so...
Yeah, it was crazy Rainbow Road times compared to the rest, and it's probably because he figured out how to train before
Yeah.
anybody else. These last few chomps are definitely... So we'll see if these guys know where they are and if they can navigate them. So they pass this last one around the corner. That's the last one of the race, so then it's just a final dash to one.
Matthias looking like he does have a pretty comfortable lead. Would need probably a pretty big mistake from him at this point, but these guys are just so consistent.
The uphill can be a bit tough because sometimes it just eats your jump up, but it seems like Matthias has gotten through the hard point.
Yeah, there's a certain point in that hill where it suddenly becomes steeper, and it, yeah, like you said, just completely eats your jump a lot of the time. And Matthias will take that, destroying most people's PRs in the process.
Close race, though. And picked up the top 5 there. I don't know if you have the time, Sean. I have them.
Yeah, I've got them, thanks.
Okay. 13 to 41. For a track that long, that's a pretty close finish.
Yeah, that's a very close Rainbow Road.
Dan reporting that's not actually a top 5. Breaking news. Dan cartridge lines. EK is the pick. All non-shortcut, as is tradition.
Oh, this is
Guys,
Dan's shortcut cartridge, that makes sense.
Seeing as these are the top 2 non-shortcut players, I wouldn't expect them to try and go away from what they're best at.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it either. I think even the track Dan has the shortcut world record on is Toast Turnpike, which isn't a very safe one-try shortcut.
That's not a given.
Yeah, especially since Matthias, you know, it's not like he never does shortcut. He's pretty highly ranked, I think 13th or so.
Right, but he hasn't played too much.
Yeah.
But that's big thing here at DK is going to be this jump at the beginning and the cave part towards the end.
Yeah, the cave.
Lead Dan.
They're very close to each other.
Their jump. But I don't know if the rest of his laps from 2 can.
Oh, Dan missing his drift on the way into the cave.
Yeah,
Looks like both players had pretty good climbs, but Matthias ahead by about 0.3. Both playing relatively safe on the ramp jump. Dan a little riskier on that lap.
Some pretty solid ramp jumps.
Matthias also getting hit by an extra coconut off that shroom, or stone, whatever you want to call them.
That is the big deal.
Dan gaining back some time on that too.
Not great cave exits. Dan missed an MT, but Matthias didn't get a triple tap at the top, so...
Yeah.
there.
And both players playing it extremely safe on the ramp jump, but Dan getting a much cleaner shroom. I think he potentially is pulled into the lead with that. The streams are a little out of sync though.
And,
oh, and Matthias with a mistake on that 180 turn. Hits the wall.
Flat bush.
And then Dan misses an MT on the bridge entry. This is very close now. Both with good climbs. And Dan will take it.
Yeah, I think Matthias didn't get a triple tap once again at the top there. It seemed like he was slow to rev up. And had it otherwise. Matthias with the pick now. Leading 2-1 in the set. 4 here. Race 4.
And taking us to Moo.
Big pick here. I know Moomoo's been a bane of Matthias's existence for a decent amount of time, but yeah, a lot of fun. They're going for the chaos tracks, giving the people what they want.
Yeah, I think wasn't Moo one of the tracks that stopped him from 32 out of 32 at one point?
Moo fast lap. TJL held him off.
Yeah.
And then somebody beat him back. I think Dan beat him back somewhere. And then DK was the other one that held him back for a while. So
yeah.
Getting a lot of Matthias's hell tracks to say out of the way.
Yeah, Moo pretty universally regarded as the worst track in the game unless your name is Abney.
And not a lot of people are huge fans of it, and it's because of these dang moles.
Moles, and the ground is super uneven, eats a lot of your jumps, and just throws you off in awful directions. Both
A lot of the
players
object.
playing it relatively risky through the moles, but for these guys, that's honestly playing it safe.
I don't think I saw either of them go over a molehill, but it was still like a little bit off to the left or right, and you're.
Yeah, it's not the line we've typically been seeing in the tournament. Usually, people playing it much safer than that. Like even going to the right side of this mole hill. Oh, and Dan hits a mole.
Yeah, he went over like 2 or 3 patches there, so
Yeah.
it was only a matter of time. That's the thing with these moles, is they're a lot of the obstacles in this game are on cycles, so you can understand where they're at, but moles are 100% RNG.
Oh, and Dan hits another one. Risked the mole patch at the beginning to try to gain some time.
Yeah, he had to at that point.
Yeah, had to take the risk. And there is a line through that patch of moles where you actually don't go over any holes, so it is
Very
possible.
risky. Very tough to do.
And yeah, Matthias will take that track easily.
$28.25 from Matthias. 33.19. Point. Dan's gonna go with Toad's Turnpike here.
Yeah, and a must-win track for Matthias.
That was a pretty good move, actually, especially for a one try where you're going safe.
Yeah, very nice. A low 128, certainly nothing to
Right.
scoff at.
30. Casually, of course.
Yeah. Toad's Turnpike, the obvious obstacle
Toad's
being the cars.
Yeah, they're pretty cyclical, and they're not too dangerous, at least in my experience, until you get towards the end of the lap, right?
Yeah, I would expect, I would be pretty surprised to see one of these guys hit a car.
Yeah, one bad line or getting launched off by the fence can lead you into a car, but
Yeah, the fence has
Like
a
you
nice
said, I would-
habit. Fence has a nice habit of you empty into it and then it sends you flying off in the opposite direction.
always fun.
And of course, anytime there's no cars there, it doesn't send you off. But if you're trying to squeeze by a car, it's gonna send you right into it.
Close race release too. First lap.
He's with the early lead, but only 0.15. So, still anybody's race. It's worth noting that in time trials, the margins tend to be extremely tight, even with the lower ranked players. A difference of half a second is a pretty big lead.
Yeah. Worth noting as well that both kept their shrooms through lap 1, so I would expect them to use both here.
Yeah.
On lap 2.
Did both players? I looked away for a sec. Did they do the bus shroom on lap 2 there?
Yeah, they did.
They did. Yeah, it's
I know
a
Dan
risky
did.
shroom. It's a risky shroom that I think most people are leaving out of the one try. With these guys, they know they got to pull out all the stops to beat the other. Dan also using a slightly different shroom spot, using it earlier in the lap than Matthias.
Yeah, they both held one through the end of lap 2, so they're gonna. I'm guessing they're gonna use this last one in here.
I would expect. I think the optimal shroom place is around the last corner, but the cars are in kind of a difficult place. I would expect these guys to do it anyways, though.
Matthias led by about, I think it was 0.35 at the end of lap 2.
Matthias struggling up, or sorry, Dan struggling up that hill a little bit.
Yeah.
MT. Matthias using his shroom
I think
earlier.
Matthias should be up. Yeah. See what happens here.
Yeah. I think maybe Matthias, knowing he was ahead, didn't need to risk the shroom through the cars. And yeah, Matthias will take that track, and with that, he will take the first set.
4-1. Yeah, Dan had a tricky earlier there. I guess that's why Matthias used it a bit earlier. So one set down. Of Matthias there. Dan will get the pick again. Banshee this time.
The loser of the previous set picks first in the next set, so Dan getting 2 picks in a row here.
Banshee Boardwalk has been selected. Pretty spooky track, pretty theme for the month as well, so. Yeah.
Very
Got to get it going.
very technical and tight track. See lots of people making mistakes, especially through the bat house.
Quick MTs in here, right? And if you don't put them in the right window.
Yeah, this track definitely one where fast MTs are a huge time saver. Matthias going for that extra MT on the straightaway. And both doing the drop shroom strat. Dan getting a bounce, which will lose him a bit of time.
Yeah, tricky place.
The other shroom strat would be around the last corner, which you could potentially see one of these guys do if they get a really bad bounce off that drop shroom. See some people, if they get just a horrible angle, they'll elect to not shroom, because if they did, they just slam into the wall.
About half a second, it looks like they're laughing.
Yeah, Dan's struggled a little bit on this track. He's missed a few MTs already. I think this might be the first match I've commentated where no one's using Toad.
As they should never. Toad is the worst.
Toad's the best. Or he's the best. Sorry. Oh, Dan falling into the water.
pretty aggressive jump there, and he just didn't work, I guess.
Knew he needed to save some time and went risky. Didn't pay off for him.
He reeled it back in a little bit, but fortunately, a few too many aggressive lines in that connecting. Up a set, going up 1-0 here.
Yeah, Matias looking strong at the start of the match.
See how Dan fought, or I guess Matias gets the pick next. The 2:14:33. Good to see where Matias goes here. He has pretty much every track that he can feel comfortable going for. He chooses Calamari. Pick. The trains will be interesting. I'm curious to see if these guys know their shroom strats. I'm not sure if Matias's PR goes to the train or not. And if it does, I'll probably have to change it up.
I think his PR would go through the train, yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. It probably has to.
I think if you're sort of anywhere close to world record, you have to, basically.
Yeah, so we'll see if he's done his homework. I'm sure he has, but see if he's ready for different strat that he's used to.
Yeah, the trains on this track are in cycles, so you know exactly where they are on certain paces, but in a one try you're not going to be on PR pace, so they could be in slightly different places than you're used to. As well as these guys, when they're on PR pace, they have to do a train gap. You can actually just squeeze your cart in between two of the cars on the train, but it's extremely difficult and not one try safe in any way, so...
Yeah, pretty narrow margin.
Yeah, both these guys having to adjust their strats for the league.
Yeah, if somebody really wants to, they could go for the train gap, and if they make it, they're probably going to win the race.
Yep, that's very true.
But I think playing it a bit safe, they probably won't. And only a gap of 0.03. I can't remember who was ahead. I think Matias was. One, so...
Yeah, they are very close. Both electing to do a 1-0-2 shroom strat, which was expected. I remember that from Dan's first match. That will mean on lap 3 they'll go well behind the train that they would normally go through, and they'll use both shrooms afterwards. 0.04 difference on that lap.
I believe makes it Dan's up by 0.01.
Dan looking like he got behind that train a little tighter.
Yeah, which makes me think he's a little ahead, but he could have got slowed down if he had to go off in the second team.
I think Dan definitely having a bit of a lead now.
I like his approach in the double shroom. I think it was a lot faster than Matias is, and I think that's what's going to give it to him. Line, which is what you're supposed to do on the 2 shroom. And there, Matias took the regular route, which is wider.
Dan ending up taking it by about half a second.
Great closer for Dan. He needed that.
Yeah, good great lap 3 for him.
I think the big difference there, Dan was a little cleaner on the start of lap 3, but I'm going through the sand to start the sand cut, the 2 shroom sand cut. I think that's what did it for him. Big race, close race until the end. Play is the next pick. RRY. Because I think Matias might have him here. Though, to be fair, Matias has wins on almost everybody.
Yeah.
Because between their PRs, the gap is only 200, so...
Dan, if I remember correctly, held world record on this track not too long ago.
That sounds familiar. No one of these two is if we want to talk about the standards real quick, I know one of these two is one of the hardest Halberd standards. Matthias Kyle, he went for all Halberd. For those of you that don't know much about the details behind Kart, we have these set of standards that help let you know just how good a time is at each track. Pretty recently, a couple of years ago, we added an extra set because people have crushed the old ones. Standards, and then this is one of the toughest ones on there to get the highest rank.
Yeah, these two, the highest standard on the site is it's the God standard in both. There's 26 of those, but that harder set of standards you mentioned, called the Halford standards, and there's only 2 Halford 10s, and they're both these players.
Yeah, the unofficial, but also kind of official Halfords.
Yeah. They sort of have their own little section off to the side, but yeah, sort of an extra thing to go after once you've got all the gods.
He was up by 0.08 after lap 1. Overall.
Both players into the wall a little bit on the ramp. No bounces from either player. In time trials, it's pretty much impossible to get bounces when you land, as long as you don't jump at the end of the ramp.
And was tighter on that turn right after the jump, so...
Gains like a quarter of a second on Matthias there.
Yeah, he should be up by about 0.15.
But he misses his drift on the straightaway. Looks like that's pretty much evened it up.
Yeah, I think if anything, Matthias might be a little bit ahead because I know a couple of other MPs in there. It's really as close though.
Yeah, it's really close. Both gonna need clean ends to this race.
I'm checking some of the checkpoints I have, and I think they're almost dead even. I think I'm down to this last section.
Oh, Matthias looking like he has a better line. Matthias landed off the ramp much further right, which gives you a better line for the left-hander. It's very close, and Matthias takes it by 0.02.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He did Dan it. He was again tighter around that turn after the jump, but I think he missed the toggle, so he had to adjust for it, or he ended up being a bit wide coming out. So that cost him a double bounce coming off the little hop, cost him a close race there. Little things here can cost you a bit.
I think that is the closest race of the league so far, if I'm not mistaken.
Has to be. Especially given the context of how long the race is.
Yeah.
But pretty unfortunate ending. But...
yeah, you'd expect maybe a race that close on one of the super short tracks, but this one's a pretty long track.
Okay, now should be Matthias's pick. He's going for Choco Mountain.
Yeah, good old Choco.
So, it'd be interesting to see their shrooms this time.
Yeah, there was a bit of variance. Both players going for the shroom around the second corner, lap 1.
I think for the most part, people use them in the same spots, but it depends. Like they use them on different laps sometimes.
Yeah, the best place to use a shroom is around the first corner, but you have the start boost on lap 1, so you have an extra shroom. And the place most people are going to use it is around that second corner, but just like you said, depends what lap. Matthias having trouble getting around that fence. Oh, but Dan getting bad hills, Matthias getting good hills.
0.23 gap after lap 1, Dan up. interesting, a slightly different, well...
You see Dan as well there, just got into the wall and his cart tilted over. Weirdly enough, on this track, hitting the walls sometimes doesn't lose you any time. The hit detection and the texturing is just weird. Sometimes the walls eat you and slow you down, and sometimes it's completely fine. Sometimes there's a spot on this track where if you go inside the wall, it speeds you up like crazy. Makes no sense.
Yeah. This track has a lot of mysteries behind it. Quarter of a second. What I was going to say is they're both taking slightly different approaches to that little hill before the... Matthias is sliding over it and Dan's just going straight over it.
Yeah, Matthias...
Slide allows you to do an empty a bit earlier.
Someone's calling me right now. Apologies if you can hear that in the stream. And Matthias ends up taking that by 0.7.
For lap 1, but a little bit of pasta all over the place. Someone threw a boulder. Dan's asking for random boulders to show up. Ooh. Daniel Burbank picking Matthias Raceway this time around.
Yeah, very risky picking the track with the same initials as Matthias. Got that home track advantage.
This can be a crazy close race.
It can, yeah, the mushroom cut being critical on this lap, on this track.
Sometimes it comes down to strats and who's going to go for the mushroom cut and who isn't. It's like, I think they're both going to go all 3 times for it. But if somebody messes up, then the other person should beat.
And Matthias looking like he got through a little cleaner, but they both make it.
I thought Dan got through cleaner, like... Matthias bounced around, but I think he might be winning. Spots, it's hard to look at both.
Matthias' stream is a bit ahead, but he is also ahead on track by about 0.17.
Mushroom cut coming up, crucial for both.
Very nice mushroom cut from Matthias.
And he got through completely clean.
Yeah, there is the fastest way to get through there is to actually bump the back of your cart off the mushroom, and it pushes you to the right, further down the track. And Matthias got it there on lap 2.
Interesting to note that they're both going for that extra MT.
Yeah, very difficult MT, and one that even if you pull it off, sometimes doesn't even save you any time.
You have to be quick and efficient on it, or else you lose them.
And even the MT speed as well, just getting a good line coming out of it is super important. But it looks like Matthias will take that track, and he'll take the second set with it.
Both getting solid mushroom cuts at the least, but Matthias just a little bit faster on each lap. Dan, though, he's pretty good there. So that should be 2-0. Yep. Sets to none. Dan's pick starts at 3. Dan is going to take us back to Wario Stadium.
Yeah, now that it's set 3, all the tracks reset. They can pick whatever they want.
See if Dan can start mounting a comeback here. He's had some close races that just haven't broken his way, so he's right there, but yeah. A little extra luck, a little extra speed.
Yeah, Matthias does have the 2-0 lead in sets, but it has been much closer than that implies.
It's a bit crazy at the start here.
And having a little bit of a rough start to the lap, but this is such a long track.
Dan
getting
having a
ext-
rough one.
Yeah, both getting extremely tight lines coming off that double hill. That is my personal pick for worst corner in the entire game.
Yes, I hate that thing so much. Wall back, that's what he should be.
Both having a little bit of a sloppy run, but Matthias, with fewer mistakes, he has pulled out a bit of a lead. But it's Wario Stadium, anything can happen, really. Yes, all tracks are non-shortcut, but with the exception, you can call one shortcut track per match, but I would be surprised to see it from either player.
He just went for that slide off the ramp and this time smacked against the wall so he didn't get that MP. Stand close it a little bit more.
These guys just with such tight lines, I keep thinking they're about to hit the wall, and they don't.
I'd be having like a heart attack during any of these runs if
Yeah.
I was doing it. Like, what are they doing?
This is one of the tracks where the skill difference between the top guys and everybody else is just so obvious. You can really see it. And it's reflected on the leaderboard as well. There's some of the biggest time gaps between people of any track. Matthias getting the Tran on the Shroom, so that would have saved him quite a bit of time. Streams are a little out of sync. Matthias' stream is ahead, so Dan not quite as far back as he looks, but Matthias does still have a bit of a lead. Deciding to play it safe off the ramp this time.
Yeah, opting against the slow.
And Matthias ahead by something about 0.6, I think.
Sounds about right. If Dan can close it in, he might need a little bit of help if he's hitting a wall here.
I'd say
Crazy tight from these two around these turns.
The most likely place he could save time would be, I think, if Matthias gets a bad shroom, but Dan hitting another wall, gonna need Matthias to either go super wide or tumble, which Matthias just playing it a little safe on that shroom.
Yeah, it's still wall hit that sends you backwards. Could be enough to close the gap for Dan.
Yeah.
So he needs to go aggressive himself as well.
This guy's just seeing them hop over walls, essentially. So.
On the strip, worth noting.
See, yeah, Dan going for the MT off the ramp. Sends him a little wide, though. I think he probably ended up losing time. And Matthias is going to come home, and he is going to take the first track of set 3.
Yeah, about a second gap there. Matthias up 1-0, and it's his pick here.
I wonder if we'll see Rainbow Road again, like we did in set 1.
Yeah, Matthias has all the tracks to pick from. Neither of them have used their jokers, so blank canvas in front of him to select. He's contemplating. Oh wow!
Back
Matthias
to Moo Moo.
sending us back. Yeah, sending us back to Moo Moo. Must be trying to exercise some demons or something around here.
Yeah, it is an interesting pick from him. Wonder if he's done a bit of research on Dan and decided that he's got an advantage here.
Oh, to be fair, last time Dan went over a couple molehills.
He did, yeah.
Pretty sloppy, got a couple hits.
Yeah, Dan taking 2 tracks, but also there's been quite a few tracks that were very close, including one where Matthias won by 0.02 on Royal Raceway.
Yeah.
So. Ooh, Dan having to adjust a bit to avoid the moles. That was very dangerous.
I got launched by that wall there.
He hit the fence, which the fences on this track are great, really. They're angled at perfect angles where if you hit them, they will bounce you straight into a mole every time. And of course, whenever that happens, the mole has to be up. It never happens when the mole's down.
Yeah, the probability behind the moles is like there's a 60% chance of them being up. Unless you're driving over them, then it's a 100% chance.
Exactly.
Yeah, Dan pretty far behind. I think he's gonna have to go for it here.
Yeah, he might elect to do the actual PR strat to actually risk the moles. And it does look like he is, and he makes it through, but he hits the fence on the exit.
Yeah.
And Matthias will take the track.
I'm not sure he would have got him. And so it would have been very close. There's been no jokers used yet, but all their tracks reset after the second set. So he gets to pick from anything.
Yeah, with the exception
so now
of
Dan
he
down
pick
2
something in the same set.
And down 2-0. If he has a go-to track, this is the time to use it because this could be his last selection. Land. A decent.
Deciding to go with Sherbertland. And yeah, 127.53 is nuts, especially considering he was going for safe strats.
That would rank 16.
Yeah, I didn't really register how crazy that was when I was typing it in, but yeah, that's insane.
Can't process PAL times like that, so.
World record's just barely a 126.
I think it's 125.
Oh, you're right,
Yeah,
it is
world
125, isn't it?
Yeah, I just had it open. Yeah, 120, just under 125.
Right. Still, crazy time.
But with the strats they use in the world record compared to that,
it saves an unbelievable amount of time, yeah. Dan going to the outside of the penguin.
Dan took a crazy aggressive crack jump though at the start of lap 1.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're too far apart even with Matthias going to the inside. Let's see
Inside line, that
lap
is
1. Matthias with a 0.12.
He's behind by 0.1.
Yeah, 0.12.
Lap
Brain
1
mixed
inside
up
penguin
which
was
was on
crazy. Yeah, you're just so used to Matthias being ahead.
I think my brain thought Dan was the one on the right for a second.
Lap 2 penguin should be a bit easier on Shroom.
Yeah, the lap 2 penguin, there is no penguin basically, he's very much out of the way. And on lap 3 as well, with their pace, he should be pretty comfortably out of the way. Really just a risk on lap 1.
Crazy tight, man.
Matthias saving time on that lap, I think he does have a slight lead now.
Yeah, 0.05 at the end of lap.
Both going for pretty aggressive crack jumps.
Matthias. This is going to be close, actually.
It's going to be very close. Both going to the outside of that penguin. He was actually much more in the way than he usually is for me. Just goes to show how slow I am.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
very
Dan going to the
more.
inside of the penguins. It wasn't. It just wasn't enough. Dan winning, or Matthias winning by 0.14.
One inside penguins there. It was close. wider on his shrooms. Costing him there.
So Matthias now all of a sudden 1 track away from winning the match.
With track selection too.
Yeah.
See where he goes.
I think we'll expect probably what Rainbow Road Joker. Yeah, just finish it off.
Let's go with Luigi Raceway Mile style only.
I'm for it.
Yeah. Like, come on, let's do it for the fans, Matthias. Come on.
You could go with your strats and pick Calamari Desert Shortcut.
Yeah. See who goes for it.
I was very surprised. I thought I was going to be the first one to do KD Shortcut, but you beat me to it. Oh, Matthias calling his Joker.
Oh, we are going to Frap Snowland. 30-second race. This could be over in no time here.
Matthias does have quite an advantage on this track as well. I think also trying to force Dan to PR on Frap Snowland.
Oh, whoa, what the?
See if either one goes for the shroom start, and nope. Pretty expected. Oh, Matthias wasting his shroom. Dan actually gonna probably take the lead. He does.
Oh no.
Oh, but Dan missed the shortcut.
Shortcut.
And then shrooms into the wall. Neither player using their shrooms very well. Yeah, so the way we could tell that Dan missed the shortcut on lap 1 was he got placed way further ahead. And Matthias will take that, and he will take the match with it, resetting so his time doesn't get saved.
Heartbreaker right there for Dan. That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. He was actually doing pretty well compared to Matthias on that until he missed the shortcut.
Yeah, Matthias shrooming into the snow there, and then wasn't there for Matthias, but or for Dan.
Didn't actually see what either of their times were, but
no, I didn't.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you can force it. It doesn't. Yeah, we can look at it later. At a 34.99. 10-second flat lap 2.
I just gave Dan 0.2 and Matthias 0.1. Just get the track up.
Yeah. Oh, look how close it was.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy match. Both playing very well. Matthias just with those cleaner tracks and getting the better of those really, really close races. A bit unfortunate for Dan.
Crazy close.
But these guys do play. These guys do play again later on in the league. Everybody plays each other twice in their division, so we will get another opportunity to see these two battle it out.
Yeah, those guys come up in about. Let's see. It'll be towards the end. Week, so early December.
Fix the times. How about this? Set complete. Matthias wins.
I'm done.
But yeah, that is it for us today. Great match, super high skill level. We will be back soon with some more time trials. I'm not sure who the next match is on Speed
I'm not sure
Gaming.
there's one. I'm not sure there's one scheduled out yet.
I think there's a couple.
We're getting ready to go into the next week.
But yeah, there will be matches most days going on, even if they're not on Speed Gaming. But yeah, so keep an eye out for us. Until then, we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.
See you guys later.